Have you ever opened your water bill, looked at that number, and thought, there is no way that we have used that much water? Sometimes it's not a sprinkler left running or long showers that are to blame or your teenage daughter up there in the shower. Sometimes the real problem is something that you can't even see. Sometimes it's a hidden water leak, and these sneaky leaks are every homeowner's nightmare. They don't just waste water, they quietly cause damage that you might not even notice until it's too late. And by then, you could be dealing with mold or warped floors, damaged drywall, or even problems with your home's foundation. And here's a scary fact. The EPA estimates that the average household's leak can waste nearly 10,000 gallons of water every single year. That's 10,000 gallons, enough to wash about 300 loads of laundry or fill your backyard pool. That is just going down the drain. So the question for today is, how do you spot these leaks before they turn into major repairs? The first thing that you can do is pay attention to your water bill. If it suddenly jumps up and nothing in your routine has changed, it could be a sign. A leak as small as a drip every second can waste more than 3,000 gallons of water in a year, and you might never even know. The next thing that you can do is look for visible clues. Damp patches on walls, ceilings, or floors are obvious, but sometimes it's more subtle. Sometimes it's paint that's just starting to bubble. Sometimes it's wallpaper peeling or wood floors beginning to warp. Those are little imperfections that could be your home's way of waving a red flag. And don't forget your nose. Musty odors can mean that water is collecting somewhere that it shouldn't. Mold and mildew can start forming in just 24 to 48 hours when there's moisture present. So act quickly, and that really matters. Low water pressure is another thing that can give you a tip as to the fact that you might be having a leak. If water from your faucet feels weaker than usual, some of it could be leaking out into your walls or your floors before it ever even reaches that spigot. Here's an easy at-home test that you can try. Turn off every faucet and then check your water meter. Write down the reading and then wait an hour without using any water. If that number has changed and no one's using water, there's a good chance that you've got a leak. Now, if you suspect that you have a leak, you don't necessarily have to go ripping out the drywall and looking into the walls. There are plenty of tools that can help you. There are moisture meters that can check for dampness without causing damage. There are infrared cameras that can spot cooler spots in the walls that might mean that water is present. And smart leak detectors, they're like having a security alarm for your plumbing. Some even shut off your main water line automatically if they detect trouble. A homeowner that we know noticed that their hardwood floor was starting to buckle in the hallway, and she thought that it was just humidity. But a quick check with a moisture meter found that water was pooling underneath from a tiny pinhole leak in a pipe. If she would have waited, the repair would have cost thousands and probably included mold cleanup. Instead, she fixed it early and only replaced a few boards. This is where home membership comes in. When you do find a leak, the last thing you want to do is spend hours calling around for approved technicians or waiting weeks for repairs. With home membership, you pick your own trusted plumber, you pay your flat $25 service fee, and you submit your invoice. If it's covered under your plan, then you get reimbursed quickly. No long fights over fine print. And how do you know if it's covered under your plan? You check the coverage chart. Everything is right there in black and white. You can definitely have the peace of mind that you want when water is leaking under your feet. Of course, the best leak is the one that never happens. So make sure that you pay attention to these quick maintenance tips. Check under sinks and around the dishwasher and washing machine every month. Look at your water heater for rust or pooling water. It's a common source of leaks. Keep your gutters and your downspouts clear so that water moves away from your foundation. And if you live in a cold climate, insulate those exposed pipes to prevent freezing and bursting. The truth is that leaks are sneaky and they're expensive if you don't catch them early. But with some awareness and a few simple checks and the safety net of a good home warranty plan, you can protect both your home and your wallet. Keep an eye on your bills, trust your senses, and have a plan in place for when something goes wrong. Home membership covers plumbing systems and water heaters so that when a leak does happen, you can handle it without breaking the bank. Make sure you check out our coverage chart on homemembership.com to make sure that you know exactly what's covered and what's not covered. We'll see you over there at homemembership.com, or we'll see you in this video.